Welcome back to the 9th Gym program, and today we are continuing our meta-analysis series, I guess, where we, look over some tournaments. So, last weekend, I believe it was last weekend, the 14th of March, last weekend, there was a tournament, another in-person event, something that I really wish we could have, but we can't because of the state of the world. But it is a Taiwan League regional with 134 players and, 6 rounds and then top 16 cut for Series 8 VGC 2021. I thought there were some really interesting teams, and we do actually have a couple of rental codes, and when I say couple, I mean the literal term of couple because there's only 2. But, they're cool teams. But yeah, when I was looking over this, I just saw a lot of really interesting teams, so I wanted to go ahead and do a little, analysis of the event, and let's get into it. So, first off, we've got in first place, which is, the prize is a round 2 buy at Nats. Unfortunate because we're probably not going to have Worlds this year, so Nats is kind of just a stepping stone to, well, nothing. It kind of just is the highest tier tournament, but that's still really cool. You get a round 2 buy at Nats, and then same with second place, third, and fourth get a round 1 buy. Very cool stuff. That's a really cool prizing. So, yeah. Anyway, first place we have Chen. I'm sorry if I mispronounce any names. That's not a really hard one to mispronounce, but I probably still did. 5-1 in Swiss. A couple of 6-0s here. 1, 2. Yeah, a couple of 6-0s in Swiss, but, really what matters is getting into Swiss and then going top 16 cut and doing well. So, alright, first place team, we've got a really cool team. We've got an Yveltal team with Assault Vest, which is interesting. Registeel at Focus Sash with the Electro Web. Very standard stuff there for the Electro Web. Registeel. Actually, you know what? Honestly, Focus Sash isn't the norm, which is kind of cool to see. We've got Oblivion Wing, Sucker Punch, Snarl, Foul Play on the Yveltal. Pretty standard stuff there for Yveltal. Tapu Fini, although Assault Vest is not from the norm. Usually you see like Life Orb or something for Yveltal. Or like even Weakness Policy is pretty common. Tapu Fini, Arcanine, Registeel, and Lando. Registeel is the one that really made me go, cool. Amnesia and Iron Defense, all on that Registeel. Only attacking move is Body Press. Wow, what a weird Registeel. Something you like to see, though. It's not really going to be Dynamaxing as frequently as other Pokemon on the team could. Lando and Yveltal are really going to be Dynamaxing the most on this team. Registeel, I mean, I guess it can Dynamax and fire off some, max Knuckles, but you're usually just going to be sitting there, Amnesia, Iron Defensing. This is a really interesting team that won. The fact that this team won is actually, like, awesome to me. Really cool. Oh, you guys can't even see the thing. I just opened up my, there you go. There it is. Body Press, Amnesia, Iron Defense, Protect, all of that kind of stuff. Really cool. Here's the rental code if you want to look at it. You want to test out the team for yourself. It's a really interesting team. I'm definitely going to give it a shot, and I think it's really cool. So, unfortunately, we don't have pastes, but you take what you can get. And what you can get is only 2 rental codes, which is unfortunate, but it's okay. Also, only 16. We only have top 16, so it's going to be a kind of short video for the meta-analysis. Next, we have, in second place, we've got a Zacian team, which is not super, out of the ordinary, but the team comp itself is actually really odd. So we do see a Dusclops and also a Drampa that's really interesting. Dusclops showing off that this will be Trick Roomy, like a lot of the time, and all the mid-speed Pokemon, Rillaboom, Tapu Fini, and even the Rotom Heat are going to be really taking advantage of that Trick Room. But you don't have Trick Room on Zacian. Zacian's a very fast Pokemon, commonly one of the fastest in the format, actually. So it's really interesting to see that as the only fast mode for this team. You do, of course, have Grassy Glide on the Rillaboom as well for a little bit of speed as well, but still, it's weird. It's weird. That's all I really got to say. Drampa's a really interesting pick. It has a Cloud 9. Most people are using it for Cloud 9 probably to, take away the rain or even drought from Groudon, Kyogre, or Pokemon like that. So that's a really interesting pick. Of course, I've said this before. Sun is really, really powerful against the Zacian. So having that as like an alternative, way of play when you're up against like a Torkoal Venusaur or Groudon Venusaur, it's not bad actually to have that Drampa. So that is a really interesting, way of play for this Zacian team. I really like to see it. Also, Dusclops having Trick Room is very, very interesting for the team. I like it. I like the team a lot. Too bad we don't have rental codes, but still really cool. You might be able to find this on Twitter or something, with some rental codes or something. I don't know. Good luck with that. If you find them, let me know. Next we have a Calyrex Ice team. This one is the Poke Paste instead of the rental code. Nothing too out of the ordinary, it seems. Thunderous, Assault Vest is pretty standard. We do see Choice Specs, Tapu Fini, which is really interesting. Dazzling Gleam, Ice Beam, Scald, and Moonblast. So, kind of not the ordinary there. We usually see like a Calm Mind set with, like really good moves, Haze, more supportive nature, but this is Choice Specs, more offensive. Which is something that is interesting, not that we don't see too frequently. We are seeing Assurance on this Incineroar as well, which is interesting, and Brick Break on the Thunderous, which is cool, but that's not really too crazy. Amoonguss, pretty standard stuff. Dusclops, pretty standard, and Calyrex Ice, very standard. So going the Life Orb route as well with the Haze Dusclops. That's something that we saw a lot last format with Galastria, kind of coming into fruition near the end of the format, really, prioritizing that weakness policy for most players, and then moving more into that, Haze Life Orb tactic a little bit after a little while. Started to get kind of popularized by Wolf Glick, but I think it was more popularized just by like in the general, vicinity, but since Wolf Glick is just such a, in the public eye, pro player, it definitely seemed like he made it, which is kind of the case for a lot of plays, but regardless, great player. I'm not gonna say anything bad about Wolf Glick. He's an amazing player, and same with anybody that started that trend, or who finished it. Whatever we got. Anyway, that is it for player 3, or the third place. We got Teng Yulang. Yeah, like I said, I'm just gonna go by placements here. Sorry if I mess up names. I'm bad with names. I'm really bad with names. So yeah. Anyway, in fourth place, we've got somebody that was actually 4-2, and maybe one of the very few X2s to make it in. So that's really fortunate for this player, and then to have a top 4 finish is very, very good, very, very good by that player. So in fourth place, we do have Kyogre, Urshifu, Tornadus, so a good old Kyogre Torn, but we do have a little bit of weird things as well. We've got Metagross, Spectre, and Zapdos as well. Zapdos has been kind of pretty standard on these teams. Kyogre Torn, we typically will see an electric type, whether it's, Tapu Koko, which is the lowest usage, and then Zapdos, which is in the middle, and then the Regieleki, which is the most used on that kind of team, on a Kyogre Torn team. It's a very strong, Pokemon, and this is a very, very frequently used core of Kyogre Torn. We've got the Urshifu and the Regieleki, or the electric type, which is going to be Zapdos in this case. We typically will see like an Amoonguss on the side or something as well for this team, or like, Kartana. Kartana is another very frequently used Pokemon on this team. But we do see Metagross and Spectre, which is most likely going to be weakness policy. Metagross with the Bulldoze Spectre. That's usually what you'll see when you see a Spectre and Metagross. So that is really cool. We also do see the Metatorn, which was a pretty commonly used core at the beginning of Series 7. So that is another really interesting little, different means of play for this player. So this team is really, really cool. It takes a very standard practice team and adds a standard practice team from last format and kind of matches them together, making a not very standard team. So I really like the team. I think it's really interesting. Moving on. So next we've got in 5th place, we've got a Xerneas team, which is something we don't see very frequently. We see a lot of Zacian, we see a lot of Calyrex, a lot of Kyogre, Groudon, but Xerneas is something we don't see very frequently. And we do see, the common 2 pairs, which is a redirection Pokemon being the Amoonguss, and then we also see the Incineroar giving us damage deafening as well as Fake Out. Fake Out with Geomancy is very good, but in this format where Dynamax is so big, you will have to pretty much use that Follow Me, that redirection turn 1 most of the time. So, one would think for leading Xerneas, you'll probably see Xerneas and Amoonguss most of the time, unless it looks like your opponent is going to play a team that has a late game Dynamax, usually something that is using Zacian that doesn't have Lapras. So maybe something like, in the second one, when you see, or second place, when you see like a Rotom plus Zacian, they're probably not going to be Dynamaxing turn 1. They're going to go for like that nasty plot with the redirection and then Zacian attacking in. So some really interesting things there. We do see Lando Thundo as well, which in my experience has been very incredible this entire format. I think in everybody's experience, because they're both top 5, top 10 Pokemon. So they really are very, very strong. Thundurus has really shown off these last, like, the last month of this format, you know, really being kind of looked over at the beginning of the format, now really getting pushed a little bit more into the spotlight, being incredibly strong. But yeah, the biggest thing here is going to be the Xerneas. Seeing that is very interesting. Going 5-1 in regular Swiss is pretty incredible with that, because we just don't see Xerneas that much this format, which I think is really cool seeing it. Ferrothorn also is a really interesting pick, something we don't see very frequently in this format, but is actually pretty strong, so like seeing it. Next, we've got in 6th place, we've got another Calyrex Ice team. Nothing too crazy there, but we do see the Sableye on the team, which I like to see. A lot of mid-speed Pokemon with that Tapu Fini and the Incineroar. Dusclops for the Trick Room treatment. Not really seeing much P2, seeing definitely Dusclops in favor as far as this event goes. Actually, I don't see a single P2. So that's pretty interesting to see. Sableye is really interesting. Quash is really good. You know, even maybe... I don't know. I don't know what Sableye is doing this format, honestly. A lot of the time, during, like, the early series, we would see, like, Shadow Sneak into a weakness policy thing. But that's not really the case here, unless you're using, like, weakness policy Dusclops. No, I'm kidding. That's not real. Yeah, it's pretty good though. You know, a fast mode with the Regieleki, a fast speed control mode, so you don't have to just right off the bat go for Trick Room. It's definitely good, and something we do see pretty frequently on these kind of teams, having like a Regieleki or something to be fast, and it's good. Next, in 7th place, we've got a Solgaleo team, which is something I really enjoy seeing. Solgaleo, we've got the Spectre, so very common, you know, common for the Solgaleo to activate its weakness policy is Bulldoze on a good fast Pokemon. Spectre is usually the case because it is very fast. It can also, you know, do a lot of damage, has Will-O-Wisp, so that's just pretty standard good stuff to see there. We've got a lot of good Pokemon that Dynamax and a lot of flyers, so we've got the Grimmsnarl. That's not Grimmsnarl. We got Galarian, Moltres, and the Zapdos. Both would like to Dynamax as well. So a lot of different, you know, alternative ways of play there. And also Grimmsnarl, which has really been showing off, especially recently. Screens is great. Priority Screens is absolutely amazing. And this Pokemon does it really well with speed control as well, which, you know, the Solgaleo doesn't really have access to on its own. So having that priority Thunder Wave is very solid. You have Fake Out, you have Foul Play, Spirit Break. Honestly, Grimmsnarl has just been an amazing Pokemon this format, and love to see it. Next, in rounding off our top 8, we have 8th place. I'm not going to say the name. Jen Chow. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Anyway, we got another Zacian team, which is something you love to see, hate to see. A lot of players hate to see that this format, but you can't really argue with it because it is the most used currently restricted legendary and probably most topping as well. It's just an incredible legendary, or an incredible restricted Pokemon. We do see Lando Thundo on the team as well with the Grimmsnarl, the Rotom H, and the Rillaboom. Pretty standard stuff, but not really, like, you know, no water type is fine. You know, Tapu Fini seems to be the only water type Pokemon people are using that isn't a restricted, which would be Kyogre. So, yeah, that's really it. That's fine, though. You have screens on this team, which is great. You know, Zacian might get destroyed by some, you know, sun stuff, but Rotom H is there to cover you a little bit. Rotom H actually on all of these Zacian teams, which is pretty interesting. Lando Thundo, of course, is powerful. Thundo on the team especially is great for Zacian, you know, so your opponent's not intimidating. They have to be very, very careful with their Intimidate, so that's always great. And, yeah, pretty good stuff other than that. Next, we have another Kyogre team. Kyogre is great. You know, we see that so frequently in this format. You know, nobody's not playing Kyogre. I'm just kidding. Everybody's allowed to play whatever you want. I don't know why I said that. Anyway, another Lando Thundo on the team. Actually, all 3 of the Genies, which is really interesting. Kyogre Torn with the Lando Thundo package. We've got the Urshifu, and then an Indeedee, which is actually a very surprising pick there. I guess, you know, it stops Fake Out on your Tornadus, so that could be good. And yeah, that's really all I got for it there. It's pretty interesting. Not something you see too frequently on not like a size spam team this format. There you will see it every now and again, but yeah, it's pretty weird. So it's cool to see. Lando Thundo really showing off here, guys. Like that seems to be one of the most powerful two Pokemon combo. It's just so good. Next, in 10th place, we've got a Colossal team with the Dragapult. Ones to assume that's mostly a supportive. You know, you have Surf, you see Screens, Thunderwave, Will-O-Wisp, a lot of really good stuff for a supportive Dragapult, but a lot of the time we do see a combo Dragapult, you know, being used in tandem with the Colossal, having that Surf, but also being able to, you know, use Life Orb, Dynamax to its, you know, pleasure. I don't know, to whatever it wants to use, you can use it, which is good. You have Zacian, Grimmsnarl, you've got the Urshifu, of course, for that Aqua Jet into the Colossal, and Rillaboom. Overall, very solid team there. Love to see it. Colossal team, you know, we haven't been seeing a lot of Colossal, I feel like, in the most recent days. Maybe it'll win Players' Cup 3? Probably not, but maybe, you know, maybe it'll win again. Back to back. I really want to see that. Actually, I'd love to see that. Let's see it. All right, in 11th place, we've got another Kyogre team taking the Whimsicott route instead of the Tornadus, which is something we don't see very frequently, but does have its usages. You know, you have things like the Fake Tears Water Spout combo, incredibly powerful, take out every Pokemon on the field. That's always good. No Kartana. We are not seeing Kartana with the Rain, with the Kyogre very frequently anymore. It seems that was the most used, you know, combo at the beginning of the format. We would see Kyogre, Torn, Kartana. So that's interesting. We're not seeing it very frequently, but that's okay. Oh, excuse me. We do see the pretty standard, you know, 4 Pokemon being the electric type and grass type, but we do see 2 grass type Pokemon being Amoonguss and Rillaboom. Very solid stuff there, as well as the Urshifu. Pretty commonly you'll see, you know, the Kyogre, Prankster, Tailwind, which is usually Tornadus, but Whimsicott in this case, and then Amoonguss, and then a good electric type, which is usually Regieleki, but Zapdos is really becoming in a bit more in favor of this format, which I like to see. So yeah, pretty good stuff there by you know, Tang. We got 12th place here with an Umbreon, with an umbrella. I was gonna say Umbreon, Gastrodon, Reshiram, which is something we don't see very frequently, but we do have that Storm Drain Gyarados. Gastrodon as well, which is really cool to see. You have Whimsicott for that Prankster Tailwind, which is good, with Reshiram, could be incredibly strong. Umbreon probably going for that Yawn spam, you know, Yawn Moonlight, pretty cool stuff. We did see Umbreon really take a very high placement a couple times this format, which is something you don't see very frequently. You know, we haven't seen that in years, actually, since it, like, just destroyed Worlds. What year was that? 13 or 14, I think? Some year. And that was really interesting. We do see Cobalion as well on the team, which is something we don't see very frequently, and wants to assume that's probably Whimsicott beat-up strategies with the Cobalion, which is something we don't see very frequently, but is really interesting nonetheless. We also see the Thundurus on the team, definitely showing as one of, you know, a top 5, top 10 aggressive, good damage-dealing Pokemon, so love to see it. Next, we have in 13th place another Zacian team with the Drampa tech. Once again, is this the same combo? Drampa, Rillaboom, Heat. Yep, it is. Okay, so in 13th place, we have another, you know, of the same team comp, probably, you know, very good friends or, you know, siblings or something. That came up with this team together, came up with the idea of Drampa, and probably both topped. You know, maybe their squad goes deeper than 2 people, but, you know, still very interesting to see the Drampa. Love to see Drampa. Next, we see in 14th place another Xerneas team, and this one is just a wild combination of Pokemon, something you do not see very frequently. We do see the meta with the Whimsicott, so something, you know, Tailwind Metagross was something we saw last format, and Whimsicott with the, you know, Dracovish is something we've seen a lot, you know, tapered throughout the you know, VGC 20 and 2021 tournaments, but Ditto, Kangaskhan, Xerneas, it's just wild. It's a wild team comp, right? Xerneas, without Follow Me, without no redirection on the team, incredible. Without Incineroar, incredible. What are you doing? How are you top 16ing a tournament? I love it. I honestly, this is a team that I really wish I had a, you know, a rental code or a pace so I could just look at it more, because I want to know what the heck is going on, but I like it. Love seeing Kangaskhan, love seeing Ditto, really wanted to see Dracovish again. I haven't seen this guy in a while. It's one of my favorite Pokemon, you know, of the new Pokemon. Sucks to see it fell off, you know, it became a very underrated Pokemon, and now it's just showing back up, so that's really interesting. Xerneas is a really cool Pokemon as well, so it's just a really cool team. This is one of the teams that made me say, I'm gonna record a video right now on this event. That was one of the teams. Next, in 15th place, we see the Cinderace coming back, something we haven't seen in a while. You know, definitely seen more of a singles Pokemon in this format, but you know, we are seeing it still every now and again. Usually with Tailwind, there's no Tailwind on this team, which is strange because it's also a Kyogre, so it would definitely make sense to see Kyogre Torn with the Cinderace on the team, but I digress. It's fine. Yeah, Cinderace is probably not even taking the Fire-type role. Maybe has Pyro Ball on there, but I don't really need it. And with Drizzle, you know, going into play all the time, you just don't really need it. You know, it's very solid. We do see the Amoonguss as well on the team with the Zapdos, definitely seeming like a pretty constantly used trio is the Kyogre, Zapdos, and Amoonguss. And then usually seeing the Tornadus as well, which kind of throws me for a loop, but it is what it is. We see Grimmsnarl as well and Urshifu, so really like the team. I think it's really interesting, and yeah. Moving on, rounding off our top 16, and the last team we're going to be reviewing today is a Sun team with Zacian, which I think is very interesting to see, because Zacian usually wants to stray from the Sun, you know, making its, you know, most blatant weakness just out in the open, saying, hey, are you a fire type? Kill me. That's what you see. It's pretty wild. So, you know, I like to see it. Zacian, Urshifu, we've got the Sableye once again, something we have not seen really at all this format. But I do love to see. Sableye is one of my personal favorite Pokemon. Probably, I usually will tell people it's my favorite Pokemon. It's up there for sure, but I love to see it. So, great stuff. We've got Thundurus as well, and the double Sun package with the, you know, the Sableye. That is really what the Sableye is doing in this matchup or on this team. You know, activating Sunny Day. Wait, was that what the... No. The Sableye the other time was kind of weird. The Sableye this time is pretty standard. You know, doing some Sun stuff. Yeah. Setting up Sun. We've got Will-O-Wisp, probably Quash. It's very good. Sun team with Zacian. Wild. Anyway, that is going to be it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe. It really does make a huge difference. You know, only about like 20% of people are subscribed to my channel that watch my channel. So if, you know, you haven't done that yet or you're not sure, just go down and press that little button, make it go gray. I think when you press a red subscribe button, I think it goes... Anyway, I really hope you enjoyed the video. You know, like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. I will link this page in the description down below if you want to, you know, check it out for yourself, or you want to watch the stream. Look at that, 10 hours. You can watch this entire event, the entire 6 rounds and Top Cut. So, you know, go do that if that's what you're interested in. You know, if you got 10 hours to sit down and watch, you know, some high-level Pokemon play, this would be a great place to do it, a great way to do it. So, yeah, hope you have a great week and weekend and following week and following weekend. Goodbye.